You're probably wondering, what am I doing here, right? Well, the reason I am here is because I am in the business of bringing people together. And if you know the history of Run-DMC, a lot of you OGs up in here, and probably some of you young Gs, know what what we have done with Aerosmith. How many of y'all heard of Aerosmith? So over 35 years ago, we did this song called Walk This Way, which originally was their song, but me, Running Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, we did it over. And in the video, there's a scene where Steven Tyler takes the mic stand and knocks down the wall that was separating us in the studio. And I traveled all over the world. I went to South Sudan, I went to Moscow, I've been to Singapore, I've been all over the world. And people say, yo, when Steven Tyler took that mic stand and knocked down that wall in the video, it didn't just happen in the video, it happened in the world. And you can kind of say it did. It brought white people and black people together, it brought hip hop and rock and roll together. Right? And then another example of what we've done is what we did with Adidas. Now, we never wanted an Adidas endorsement. We was the first, I don't even play basketball, I don't even know how. But we was the first non-athletic entity to receive a major endorsement from a sports apparel company. But yes, which was huge. Like, that's why Kanye West can do Yeezys. You know, no pearls, no braids, peasy head, and still get paid. I am the reason why Yeezys can get made. Those are bars, right? But what I'm trying to say is, we didn't do the record to get endorsement. And, you know, I speak at a lot of high schools and middle schools, and I tell the kids, I'm not thirsty. I didn't call Adidas, Adidas called me. You go, well, yeah, they go, I've been around so long, yeah, that's true, my grandfather told me that's true. But the reason why Adidas was able to approach us, because what we represented, my brand, what it represents is goodness, integrity, quality. You know what I'm saying? Me and Run probably said a bad word on 2 of our records our whole career. And it was always about, right. It was always about taking those good things that everybody can relate to and giving it so that we can all enjoy. And like I was saying earlier, culture is a way of life. So music, that's a culture. You know, rock and roll, hip hop, whatever it is. Fashion, that's a culture. There are many styles. Or, you know, like we say in the streets, there's many flavors. Wine is a culture. Think about it. It's similar. The thing that I do is the same thing that they do when they mix in the wine and the vaults. I mix music together, they mix grapes and wines and stuff like that. So, that being said, what I'm trying to say is I wanted to do something that was necessary in this time that we live in. Like, it's been crazy politically, it's been crazy personally, it's been crazy, you know, racially, it's been crazy with this pandemic. We need stuff and things to make us smile. We need to do things. We need to do things that's going to bring people together so that we could collectively and together work on the solutions to make this world a better place. And look at this room. It's people from all walks of life, all over the place, all over the world, together globally. Same thing happens here, happens at a rock concert. Same thing happening here happens at a play or a museum. So me and Amy Chu, Amy, say hi. That's Amy Chu, that's the great Amy Chu. She's one of the best writers in the history of pop culture. She's written for DC, she's written for Marvel, she's written Wonder Woman, Red Sonja. So Amy is a food and wine connoisseur. And she writes for my comic book, Darryl Makes Comics, which is a company I started 4 years ago, but I'll get into that. So we combined our collective cultures and lifestyle to create something that's going to bring everybody together, but even more importantly, to make people smile. music makes people smile. Wine, not because of the alcohol, that helps, makes people smile. You know, there's many flavors and many things that you can taste. And there's a lot of similarities in all of us, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, and even age. So it was Amy's idea to do wine and combine it with the comic books. And then it was my idea. I have a very sweet tooth. Like, you know, people say, D, you look good. Well, you know, you go to the gym and work out. Well, what's your secret? I say, I eat a lot of sweets. And they scratch their head, but I eat so many sweets that I'm forced to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So it balances out. But we wanted to create something that was going to bring people together, to make them smile, so that they can enjoy life the way it should be in the midst of hurricanes and wildfires and pandemics. Truth be told, when I was a little kid growing up in Hollis, Queens, New York, my inspiration started with comic books. Like, I didn't start a comic book company because, oh, I got a hit record, now I can do anything. It's not a venture for me. I started this comic book company because a friend of mine said, D, before hip hop, before 1970s rock radio, remember how good the radio was in the 70s? I mean, you would hear everything, Sly and Family Stone, you would hear the Doobie Brothers. One of my favorite records was Old Black Water, Keep on Rolling, Mississippi Moon. You know, I'm a little black kid in the hood digging that. You know, remember Jim Croce and Harry Chapin? You know what I'm saying? Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Elton John. 70s rock radio was amazing to me. And at the same time, it was my moms and pops, when they were still cool, they were listening to Al Green and Aretha Franklin on the Motown stuff. But as a little kid, I didn't have my own music. But when I heard the folk rock and I heard the rock songs, you know, people like Neil Young and people like John Fogerty and a host of other artists, they would always address topics that would relate to the everyday lives of the people in the audience. And I kind of saw that as something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it until this thing called hip hop came over the bridge. Now look at that. I'm listening to one culture of music, this rock and roll and this folk music. And I'm this little kid and it's planting these little seeds in me. You know what I'm saying? I know I want to tell stories, I know I want to do that, but I can't sing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Michael Jackson. So this thing called hip hop, this brand new culture comes over the bridge. And I'm like, oh wow, I could do that. I know how to talk. So I took these two cultures and I put them together. But the thing that gave me the confidence to even do those things was all the comic books that I was reading. I went to Catholic school my whole life when I was a kid. I went to Catholic. Anybody went to Catholic school? Yes. Yeah, everybody, right? You know, nuns and priests, Sister Nazaire, Sister Lucy, Father Rudloff, and all that. So I was a straight A kid who went to Catholic school that read comic books, that wore glasses. I got contacts in now, and I still wear my glasses. So, you know, that basically was my life. I was a shy kid. I'm not afraid to get up here in front of y'all and talk to y'all tonight because I had 37 years of practice up on stage with Run J. But prior to that, I didn't want to say nothing. But it was the music. It was music and comic books that gave me the confidence to be able to get up in front of people and say stuff. And when the music first started, when the hip hop first started, I noticed it was very depressing. Now, it was true and it was relevant. Y'all remember the record, The Message, right? It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder. But all the early hip, you know, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a joke. It's like that now, right? So those records were really relevant, but and it was a lot of the way people felt. But at the same time, when that was happening, it seemed like everybody was complaining about how bad everything is. And that's just the habit that we have as humans. You know what I'm saying? You start going, oh, you too? And we'll sit here for hours and talk about how bad everything is. Okay, there's a million things that's bad, but there's a billion things that's good. So, my thing was, when I came into the music business, I even knew growing up in it, even in the dirt poor ghetto of darkness, death, and destruction is good. You know what I'm saying? There's lollipops, There's chocolate candy and cake, and there's comic books, and there's monster movies. And all of us in here, this is really mind-blowing. All of us in here, regardless of our stress, strife, and struggles, we are all children of pop culture. Like, as I sit before you, I'm not just hip-hop and rock and roll and walk this way. You know, my whole childhood was the Brady Bunch, and the Addams Family, and the Flintstones, and I Dream of Jeannie, and all of that. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Archie Bunker, that's all part of my childhood. That's all part of me. Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Disney, so all of that is all part of me. So I think what happened to me was I was just blessed as this little kid. I was given all this stuff, but no way to put it out. But it was the music business that allowed me to share who I am with the world. And by me doing that, it made everybody else look at themselves and said, this guy is just like me. You know what I'm saying? Even if you thought that, you know, life was the worst thing to be, and there's so many problems, and everything's a struggle. No, we all struggle, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of cliche. Take a look around and look at all the beauty that exists. When I got here this evening, last time I came here, it was gray and overcast and cold. I was debating to wear my goose down because I was like, and this was like, when did I come in? Like in April or something like that, Amy, when we came in? Something like that. So I was like that. But when I got here today, I was like, I don't want to go home. I just want to pitch a tent. But it's all about feelings and emotions. So when I was a little kid, I had all of this stuff in me, and then I realized, yo, people need to smile. You know what I'm saying? People in the ghetto, yes, you know, paying your taxes and the bills and crime and everything that you see on the news, we was being overwhelmed with that. So when I came along, I was like, okay, nobody's making records. You know, my first rap on one of my records was, I'm DMC, in the place to be. I go to St. John's University. And hold on. This guy ain't rhyming about gangs. He's not selling crack and shooting people. He's rhyming about college. What is this? So the cool thing about that, everybody who wanted to hear about college, but nobody was talking about it, loved me now. Because think about it. I'm one person talking about going to college, but everybody went to college. Everybody knows what a college is. But then I took it further. I'm DMC in a place to be. I go to St. John's University. Since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. After 12th grade, I went straight to college. I'm light-skinned from Hollis, Queens, and I love eating chicken and collard greens. Everybody went, what the hell? But everybody in the world knows what chicken and collard greens is. And the reason I'm telling you that is like, I don't want you to think it's DMC's coming here trying to sell us wine. No, I'm coming here to be able to talk to y'all and hang out and show that we have something in common. I can't drink because I've been sober for 14 years. But since I can't drink, I'm not going to run around, you can't drink, because I can't drink. But it's okay to have a glass of wine. It's okay to come out and have a good meal. And Amy, she's that side of the representation of what everything, man. She's over there eating. Look. Amy, open your mouth and show them the food in there so they know it's really in there. You know what I'm saying? So a long time ago, when I started saying all of this stuff, people started relating. You know, there's no difference from the people who lived in, you know, the ghetto of Camden. They're no different from the people that live in Hollywood. But we have to take a look at the things that we enjoy. The music, the food, the wine, the styles, and everybody, we all have something in common. And I have a saying, it's the arts, imagination, and creativity that succeeds where politics and religion fails. Think about that. It's the arts. Go to a museum. You see people from all over the world. Go to a rock concert, right? Go to a library. You know, go to a play. Come to old York. If you want to know what America is, take a look around the room. This is America. So, I'm going to try to give you the 35-year long story. So that was my thing. That was the presentation that I wanted to give. So as we got into it, I knew there was a power in creativity. Like I said, the same thing I do is the same thing the winemaker does. The chef here, what's the chef name? Yes! Chef Jose puts puts a foot in Dr. Dre's ass. Right? He's in the kitchen doing his thing. Dre's in the studio doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to show you that. So as it went along, I started realizing, we have more in common, and there's so much at our fingertips that we can utilize to make people smile and make people happy. So in 1984, we did the Suck MC's record. That was our first single. Because remember, they didn't even think rap was going to be around. Remember, disco had died. But disco was great. Remember disco? Do you know what? Disco was so powerful with two of the biggest rock bands, and this is his historical fact. Two of the biggest rock bands in the history of music wanted to do disco. The Rolling Stones, they didn't miss you. Woo, 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 man, I miss you too. And they wanted to be down with disco so bad because Studio 54 was in New York City. So Mick Jagger said, walk in Central Park. Like, he said, I can do this. He wanted to have something in common with the people in New York so that he could get in Studio 54. You know what I'm saying? Queen. Big shout out to Freddie Mercury. Probably the greatest frontman in the history of music. We had a big debate. Everybody said Michael Jackson's the greatest, but then somebody yelled, no, Freddie Mercury. And everybody was like, oh. Freddie was phenomenal. But Queen did another one bites the dust. Boom, boom, boom. Another one bites it. They wanted to get into the disco. So disco was great until somebody woke up one day and said, disco sucks. But now remember, I'm talking culture. The music didn't suck with disco. What sucked was the lifestyle, the sex and the drugs and it got bad in studio. It started as a good thing, like things usually do, but then it just turned to, at first it was like, yes, go. Then it was like, oh my God, I can't. Remember that? So somebody said disco sucked and disco died. So here come these hip hoppers and the punk rockers. It all happened at the same time. So when hip hop came, it was cool. Oh, the Message, the new, the early Run-DMC and LL Cool J. But it was like, it's not going to be around. This is going to go out like disco and it's going to die like the hula hoop. Or it's going to die like the slinky. But don't you know hula hoops and slinkies are coming back right now? So anything that is relative to a culture, a lifestyle, and that's okay, culture and lifestyle. So as we was coming up, we saw that there were so many lifestyles and cultures immersed in this music entertainment thing. So in 1984, we took it upon ourselves to say, you know what? They think hip hop is going to die in a year. There will never be a rap single. Because remember, it's rappers alike. It's like that Suck MC. We just singles. So we get it on our minds and we're going to make a hip hop album. And the world said, nobody, look, we damn sure don't want to hear your one record. There's no way in the world anybody wants to hear a whole hip hop album. Run-DMC was the first hip hop album to go gold. We sold 500,000 copies. But that was because if you listen to the content of the music, it was something that everybody could relate to. So that's 1984. Then we did a video for a song called Rock Box. Like, it's a tongue twister. Walk This Way isn't the first rock rap record. The first rock rap record is Rock Box in 1984, which is the first rap video on MTV. That was in 1984. So it was like, oh shoot, hip hop and rap is on MTV. It was like, we'll give it to you, but you can't do it again. So in 1985, we had the confidence, this is crazy, we had the confidence and the guts to do a song called The King of Rock. And that came from me being the little kid at 12 years old writing my rhymes. Like, I don't want to be the king of rap. Y'all see hip hop now? Like, I'm not a comedian, but do you see hip hop now? Like, so, even back then, I was like, I don't want to be the king of rap. No, it's crazy. But my aspiration was I want to walk in a room and have Michael Jackson like me. If Elvis was still alive, I want him to get up off the throne and say, DMC, you sit down. You know what I'm saying? I want Mick Jagger to run the stage for 2 hours. He's phenomenal, even at 88. I think he's 88. So he's still doing better. I want Mick Jagger to see me coming and running the other direction. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I ain't going to be the king of rap. I'm going to be the king of rock. So we did a record called The King of Rock in 85. Dig this. With Larry Bud Melman from the David Letterman show at the front door of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame telling me, Running Jay, you guys can't come in here. This is a rock and roll museum. And I said, oh yeah, I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MC should call me sire. To burn my kingdom, you must choose fire. And I won't stop rocking till I retire. And we just did the Run-DMC thing. Shut it down. So now they're like, okay, now our